And good morning, everybody. We are joining these games live here today. Latvia, Team USA, Denmark, and Slovenia to kick off our morning. I do apologize for the technical difficulties off the top today, but we do have ourselves a good one where we'll see if Latvia can pull themselves out of the missing the playoff stage and try and find themselves into the making the playoff stage. Should be a great day of action today. We have quite a few streams in the store. We'll also be live a little bit later on today between Czechia and Slovakia, which should also be a very good game. And I'm looking forward to really both of them a shot from the point. Gudlevskis be able to turn it away. This American team trying to also pull home a big win today. We'll see whether or not they're going to be able to get the job done. Obviously entering this game as relative favorites as the Latvians now working. Shot. Good save there by Cooley. Interesting to see the Americans go back to Cooley after Joseph Wall's bit of a disappointing performance in his last game. There's a lot of players on the ice there. Falk works up with it for Team USA. Fire it down deep. Pinskis back for Latvia. Puck hits off a player and shoots out. Latvia now back to get it, but gives it right back up. Bit of a back and forth start so far. Over in Denmark and Slovenia, game still tied at 0. Expect that one to be relatively close as this game continues onward here. The U.S. works over the line. Moves it on down. Tries to rim it around. Up to the point. Can't quite hit his guy. Lindgren. The puck now shot from distance. Blocked out top. Freibergs with that nice blocked opportunity. Puck will be fired on down. Flips up. Back come the Americans. Hagens with the puck for Team USA. Shot. Nice save there by Gudlevskis. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We are still a little bit ways to get there, but still, if you have not already, please do smash the subscribe button. And also be sure to fill out our poll of who you think will win today's game. Should be a good one here between Latvia and Team USA as well. Drop your score predictions down in the chat. Currently leading our poll with 22 votes registered. Latvia in the lead 59% to 41%. We will see how much that changes as this game does go along. Scramble draw won by the Latvians. Tries to puck, plays it out. And some more kind of neutral zone slog, if you will, from this Latvian team. The longer this game can stay tight, the more it's going to favor the Latvians. Falk turns back with it in his own end. Go Latvia. I have a feeling it will be a very pro-Latvian crowd here today. Tries to move it up. Flip it up, Egla. With the puck. Eglo and gets rough rouse there. Throws on the corner. Turns it down low. Egla with the puck for Latvia. Ends up getting knocked off the puck by Connor Clifton. And the Americans now will work back up ice. Leonard with it. Leonard walks in, shoots, gets blocked. Here comes Latvia back the other way. Schmitz able to get back up to center. Walks in, shot. Cooley nearly with the opportunity there. Cooley made the good save. Puck fired into the corner. Latvia with a little bit of offensive possession. Throws it out front. Rebound chance is loose, but cleared away by Team USA. Sasson back for the American team on a nice hit there. Works in with it. Plant with the puck. Plant works around the net. Throws it back up to the point to Lindgren. Lindgren cycles it across to his defensive partner. Ufko down low. Oh, and the net comes off. Schmitz just runs right over the net there. Ixion, good morning. Forgot they have Tkachuk now. Should have voted Team USA. They do have Tkachuk for this game. We'll see how much of an impact he can be. Relatively quiet so far to start this tournament. He'll definitely need to be big if this U.S. team is going to be successful today. Should be interesting. Try at least. I have ready jersey. I'm excited to see kind of what ends up happening today. I think it's going to be a great day of games. And think about all the important games that happened today. You have Germany, Austria as well coming up a little bit later. Sweden and Norway, which could absolutely be an upset. Denmark, Slovenia, huge game here. And then, of course, USA, Latvia, which very well could end up defining those bottom playoff spots over in Group B. It's going to be a tremendous day of action. I'm very excited to see kind of who ends up walking away on top in this one. But, I mean, time, of course, I guess will tell. But it should be a great day. If you haven't already, be sure to drop your score predictions in the chat. Hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. Let us know in the poll who you think will win. Score predictions in the chat and notification bell so you are notified when we do go live. Reminder, we'll be live a little bit later on today for Switzerland and Hungary, and then your other game, the marquee game between Czechia and Slovakia, which should be another great day of action. So we'll see what ends up happening there today. But lots of really good hockey still on its way, and we'll see what it has in store. So the U.S. now work it in. .37 left to go in the first period between Latvia and Team USA. As Denmark and Slovenia head to a power break, still tied at 0. Americans now with it. Drops it back off. Looking for the rebound chance. Tkachuk throws it through a skate. And good kick save there by Gudlevskis. To the corner. Coronado sends it down to Tkachuk. Tkachuk unable to keep it. Lindgren to the point. Back down to Tkachuk. Tkachuk hands it off. Throws it around. Looking for tips in front. Unable to find it. Lots of forward pressure here from this American team thus far. Expect quite a bit of that today. The more offense this U.S. team is able to generate, even if it means giving up some of their own, they will be successful in this game. Steves works in for Team USA. Steves. Puck gets poked off. I'm at the line, but unable to turn it into anything. Tries to work it back in. Ends up not being able to. Puck comes back out to center ice. It'll be fired down deep. Lowry back to get it for Team USA. Lowry with a little bit of pressure there, unable to get it to his forward. Some more. This U.S. team's already looking a little shaky today. Oh, nice move there by Steve. Steves walks in. Steves looking for the pass. Rebound, jam in front. Gudlevskis able to cover up. 12:01 left to go in the first period. Tie game still between Team USA and Team Latvia. From Ixion, Latvia will be fun. Pretty sure it will put the U.S. in real danger of not making the playoffs. I would agree. I think, and I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've looked completely at those numbers, but it will depend on what happens with USA and Austria. And basically, because the U.S. ended up beating Germany, they put themselves in a much better spot. If they would have lost that game to Germany in regulation time, then it would have been a huge issue for them. The U.S. or anyone really missing the quarterfinals would do massive damage to their ranking. That's the 2021 Swedes, exactly. Leonard rims it around. Shot from the point, kicked away by Gudlevskis. Seeing that work in. Puck comes up to Moore. Moore picks it up and will skate back up ice. Moore, stretch pass down there to Leonard. Leonard with it. Shot. Good save there by Gudlevskis. He's tripped up. No call coming there. So Latvians now will try and work back up ice. Comes Latvia over the line. Dumps it off. Zirkaus. Zavatnia. The point shot. Looking for the tip in front. Cooley able to turn that one away. Back up front. Shot. Scores! Latvia makes it 1-0 early in this one as they take the lead in this game. Harolds Egla with the goal, and Latvia now gets up 1-0. Wow. We talked about it in yesterday's day recap video. The goal for Latvia was simple. Find themselves on the board early here, and then from there, try and control the game. Egla gets on the board for Latvia to make it 1-0. A huge goal. And all of a sudden, there is hope for Team Latvia today. How's the game been so far? It's been mostly Team USA as expected, but where it counts on the scoreboard, Latvia up a goal. 11 minutes left to go in this period. Now we'll see just how well they can hold this lead. Krastenbergs for Team Latvia works down low. Will fire it back around to Ufko. Ufko throws on the brakes. Moves it around. Oh, it nearly had a chance out front to Krastenbergs. Doesn't take it though. Shot. Turned away by Cooley. Krastenbergs with it now. Moves it over to the defense. Shot. Looking for the tip in front. Unable to get one. It's taken down there. That will be a penalty. I believe Latvia will head to the power play. They will for another huge opportunity here. Can Latvia make it 2-0 early in this game in hopes of continuing their way on to the playoff rounds? Matthew Olivier with the penalty for holding and a tough call to take. Not very happy there on the bench. But Latvia will go to the power play where they will look to see. This can be Gudlevskis in the recap again for Latvia. I would say so. It does certainly feel that way. Johnny says, predictions, USA 4-3 in regulation time. Shot turned away. And Denmark, Slovenia winning 4-1 over Denmark. Interesting. Do you know there was a time when the NHL had non-sudden death overtime in the regular season? That is interesting. So move it down. Latvia now with the prime opportunity. Steve's with it, with the puck. Tries to fire it down. I think that hit off the ref. Passes again and will be fired the length of the ice here. Will USA get dropped likely from playoffs if they fumble this game? It'll depend on what happens with Austria, but I would say there's probably a 50-50 chance because they ended up beating the Germans. Just comes down to their game against Austria. Schmitz with it. Works it down low. Back up to Krastenberg. Oh, and Krastenberg missed Schmitz, and the puck will come all the way back down the length of the ice. Puck sent down, and that will be icing now against Latvia. A bit of a struggle to start this power play so far. Real tough game for them. A real tough power play, not so much the game. Really needs to try and get it going if they're going to be successful in this one. Defensive zone draw. Egla against Sasson. Latvians win the face-off draw. And we'll start to look up ice here. 1:10 left to go in the power play. 9:30 left to go in this first period. Still shift in. Pulling out all the stops this morning. Little technical difficulties, a little bit of sneezing. Can't ask for much more than that. As the Latvians now work in, throws on the brakes. Oh, and blows a tire. There was Vomanis. Oh, and the U.S. with Falk will work back up ice. Clifton with it. Continues to skate. And will hand it off. Nielsen tries to get over to Hagens. So we'll flip it on net. Gudlevskis out to play it. 20 seconds left to go on the power play. Not too much to show for it so far from the Latvian side. To the point to Zile. The curl shot misses wide of the net. Puck comes up. That'll be a hand pass. Penalty upcoming, though. Wait, is it a penalty upcoming? I think it will be a penalty upcoming against Team USA. Latvia will go right back to the power play as their first one does expire. Wow. And another prime opportunity here for the Latvians to try and get themselves right back onto the game. Works in, turned away there. How is everyone doing on this fine Saturday morning here in North America, at least? I guess it's mid-afternoon, probably for most of our European friends today. We got a power play. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road now to 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which is absolutely crazy. Please, if you have not already, hit the like, subscribe, let us know what your score predictions are in the chat below for both Denmark and Slovenia, as well as this USA-Latvia game. Latvia currently leads 1-0 in your score line. We'll see what ends up happening in today's game. I got home from work only 5 hours ago, yet I'm somehow up for these two games. That's the dedication we like to see. Hogard with it. Shot from the point, looking for the tip in front, unable to get there. For Denmark starting this tournament, it's been a bit of a stinker. You think about their early path in this tournament. Unfortunately, and puck, weird carom there off the boards. And Slovenia will head to the power play here, I think. Here comes back up Latvia now on the power play. Their second one really in a row. Krasenberg's with it. Moves up to the point. Vilmanis over to Schmitz. Schmitz back down low. Tries to force feed it to Krasenberg's. Unable to get there. Vilmanis back to Schmitz. Down low. Passes it back up to the point. Schmitz with a shot. Blocked up top. And back come the American team. 2-on-1 developing. Olivier over the line. Shot. Kicked away by Gudlevskis, who will play it back up. Vilmanis with the puck now. Minute 05 left to go on this power play. So work over the line. Try and force feed it up. And the puck will be shot all the way down the ice. It's been a real tough go thus far for these two. Or for this power play unit. The U.S. has looked very good to start today. Still work over the line. Puck comes loose. Unable to turn into anything, though. Zile shot. Kicked away by Cooley. Puck will come back around. Botnia. And a nice play there to keep it in. 25 left to go in the power play. Shot from the point. Look for the rebound. Shot. Rebounds loose. And so close. Unable to get there, and the puck will be sent all the way the length of the ice. Prime opportunity there for the Latvians to bring themselves up 2 goals in this game. Unfortunately, unable to do so. And that'll be kicking motion. Slovenia gets on the board first. In their game, looked to be a kicking motion, though. Slovenia goes up 1-0 on the power play. We didn't have time to get the power play thing set up, but it does appear that goal might be coming back for kicking motion. We'll see whether or not that will be the case, but we will leave the power play marker for Slovenia up for this moment, as I do think we are about to see either goaltender interference or kicking motion. You can pick your poison on that one. Tkachuk collects it for the Americans in his own end. Tkachuk starting to signal. Brings it up. Sauces it down. Moves it over. Coronado back to the point. Shot. Rebounds loose. Unable to find it there on the backside. We'll wheel with it now. Over to Tkachuk. Tkachuk with the puck. Tkachuk, it's tied up, slashed, hooked, whatever you want to call it. No call coming. Tkachuk with the puck now. Tkachuk feeds it back, drops it off. Ufko with it now for Team USA. Ufko cycles it down to Coronado. Coronado walks it up to Ufko at the point. Shot. Upcoming penalty to the Latvians. The Team USA will go to the power play here very shortly. Works in. Goaltender pulled still for Team USA. So they have an upcoming power play. Shot from the point. Gudlevskis able to turn away from Tkachuk there. Hits off a guy. Goes back out. And Team USA will head to the power play here. Prime opportunity for them to tie this game. Does feel like this goal is about to come back, so we'll make sure that power play graphic still stays up. As here we go, after review of this play, we're about to see it in a second here. After review of the play. It will be no goal. Slovenia will still remain on the power play here, but their goal will not count. 0-0 between Slovenia and Denmark. Looked to be a kicking motion from basically as soon as it went in. Wasn't too convinced that that goal would stand, but or goaltender interference. You can kind of pick your poison here. Both very fitting for the crime. But Team USA will head to the power play for cross-checking. We'll see whether or not they can capitalize on this opportunity here. Oh, that's a tough call. Kind of surprised they make that a call now, but okay. Does Latvia have any real chances to qualify? They'll need points in this game if they are. It's very unlikely it's impossible that they can't if they lose this game. Especially if they lose it in regulation time, then it's over. So they need to get a point, if not win this game. Leonard works in. Anzan's there with the penalty for the Latvians. The Americans now will work back in. Moves it over. Oh, cross crease shot. Good save by Gudlevskis again. Leonard with a prime opportunity there, unable to capitalize on it. To the point to Falk. Falk to Tkachuk. Over to Novak. Novak down low to Tkachuk. Tkachuk works in. Rebounds loose. Shot. Digging away at it is Leonard. But Gudlevskis is able to cover up there. Good stop. Nice there and tight by Gudlevskis. The Slovenians now work in. 4 left to go in their period. 15 seconds left to go in their power play. So walk line shot, turned away there. Seven seconds to go. And that'll do it for the Slovenian power play. So walk in with it now, though. Shot. Rebounds loose, misses wide. Tkachuk over to Leonard. Leonard with the puck back down to Tkachuk. Tkachuk sends back to the point, moves it over. Shot. Misses wide of the net. Prime opportunity there for Team USA. Leonard works down low to Tkachuk. Tkachuk gets the puck knocked off him. Brings it back to Leonard. Leonard works in. Shot. Blocked by Schmitz. Good block shot there. Moves it over. Coronado with it. Coronado shot. Looking for the rebound with Tkachuk on the back door. Unable to find it through. Falk with it. Passes it over. Sends it down low. Over to Tkachuk. Sends it along to Falk. Falk moves it down to Leonard. Leonard with the puck now. Leonard waits, passes over Coronado to Tkachuk, back to Leonard. Leonard with it, shot, misses wide of the net. Coronado over to Novak. Novak down to Tkachuk, looking for the backside. Good save there by Gudlevskis. And the puck will be covered up. 10 seconds left to go now on this Latvian power play. Denmark and Slovenia, it's still tied 0-0. Both teams have had their fair share of chances. The Danes a slightly better team to start this one, but really is a coin toss type of game, especially from what we've seen from the Slovenians, really all tournament long. We are going to see whether or not Denmark is going to be able to kind of find their game after getting blown out for most of it. Puck around Ufko, back to Hagens. Hagens with it, sends it to the point to Ufko, shot, blocked. Latvia with some numbers coming back up ice. We'll see if they can capitalize on it. Tries to work it over, but can't. Vilmanis tries with the opportunity there as well. Puck will be moved around. And the Americans will collect it and move it back up ice now. Shot in. Gudlevskis will cover up. Steve's in pursuit on that one. The Slovenians will work back up over the line. Unable to do so. There's on the brakes. Lindgren cycles it over to the point. Fire it down deep, up and around. Shots on goal in the first period, 16-5 so far for Team USA over Team Latvia. Not too much of a surprise there. Expected goals, 1.43 for Team USA, 0.77 for Latvia. Latvia currently operating at a plus 0.23 goals above expected as they work in. Again, the U.S. Cotter runs over Gudlevskis, but unable to find the puck. Prime opportunity there for Team USA to get themselves tied once again. A lot of opportunities here in this first period, but unable to capitalize on it. Puck will be rimmed around. Cotter passes it up, tries to get it to Falk, unable to do so. Nelson now works in. Puck gets moved off him. Olivier up to Clifton. Clifton shot. Blocker side. Falk works down low. Over to Nelson. Passes it over. Shot. Tipped away. Good stop there by Gudlevskis coming all the way across. Final minute to go now in this period. Puck played out to the corner. Stops on a dime. Hands it off. Oh, nice move there. Looking for the feed. Unable to get there. Gudlevskis throws his stick without a stick now with 25 seconds left to go in the first period. Plant turns the corner. Tries to feed it across. Shot. Oh, and misses wide through the crease. Passes it over to Falk. Falk down low. 10 seconds. Latvia just trying to hold on here. Shot. Falk. Gudlevskis with the save, and buried in the crease was Anderson's there. Good stop there by Gudlevskis as this U.S. team continues to try and find their way through. Prime opportunity for the Americans gone for naught as they miss it basically right through the crease. It's the kind of goals you need to score if you're going to be successful. We are on first intermission between Denmark and Slovenia. A good start over in that one. Latvia and Team USA, also a pretty good one. We'll see who ends up on top over here. But you look at these two teams, coming in, you knew that Latvia and Team USA was going to be a good one. The Latvians, a team who are well known for their upsets. The U.S., a team well known so far at this tournament for being able to be upset. We'll see which one ends up walking away in this game. 2 seconds left to go in the first period. We'll see whether or not this U.S. team can get one last late goal. Edwards Trelmax joining Team Latvia for the final 2 games should be a nice addition to the offense for sure. You think as well for Norway, getting their top guy in Michael Brandsegg-Nygård, a huge opportunity there for a Norwegian team who's shown very well so far at this tournament. You had a guy who's a legitimate scoring piece. All of a sudden, they're looking extremely good heading in to some pretty important games for them as they try and make the playoff rounds at this tournament. And then once you make the playoff rounds, it's really anyone's game. And so we'll see for them a shot kicked away by Steves. We'll see whether or not they are going to be able to be that success factor. I think there's absolutely a chance for them. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. There's a big game coming up against Sweden later tonight, which should be interesting. But we will head to the first intermission here between Latvia and Team USA. A reminder that what we like to do in this first intermission is answer any of your questions you might have to this point in the tournament. It's been quite a while since we've had one of these streams. And so if you have questions, be sure to drop them in our chat for right now. It has been quite the day so far, as I'm taking a look as well at our poll, which we posted yesterday, whether you'd rather see Germany and Austria or Sweden and Norway in our marquee matchup for tomorrow. It should be a great game for both of them. Both teams have very important games. For Sweden and Norway, the kind of game that could very well flip either which way. And so we'll see who ends up taking that one, but should definitely be interesting. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are in the first intermission for both Denmark and Slovenia, as well as Latvia and Team USA. We'll see who can end up pulling out on top in this one. Should be a great game. We're able to cover the first goal after a little bit of technical difficulties this morning. But at the same time, Latvia currently leading our poll as of right now, 65% to 35% through 60 votes in. We will see how that continues to change as the day does go along. Okay, let's see what we have here in our chat box for today. Does Latvia have any real chances to qualify? I would say so, especially if they can win this game, if they can get a point out of this game. If they don't, it's going to be a very tough road forward, and realistically, they will likely lose if they do get to that point. So we'll see, right? Like, it's part of the fun is you don't really know what to expect, but at the end of the day, I don't suspect that they'll be able to kind of pull off that miracle run and get all that help they're going to need if they end up losing. Switzerland, Finland are the only teams with a 100% record, win every game in regulation. Italy and Great Britain are still pointless. Very true. We'll see how that changes. Denmark as well has struggled so far at this tournament. Be interesting to see for them whether or not they end up continuing pointless at this tournament. But still, you think about for Germany getting their first win of the tournament. I guess that was yesterday. Big win for them there as well. I don't know if they still do the in-front team jackpot for a perfect 10-0-0-0 tournament. Last one by Canada. I think they still do. I was actually looking into that yesterday because I've had the same kind of question. I'm pretty sure they do still. I think if Germany beats Austria by a goal and yada yada, potentially. But it feels like it's always Finland who always gets their perfect record spoiled, or they spoil someone else's. Very true. What an end for the first period. Empty goal miss. Very, very exciting end to that period for sure. It's always fun to see kind of how it all chaos is out at the very end. But for Latvia, a near perfect spot for them entering this period, exiting this period, I guess. 1-0 your score line. It's exactly what you wanted to see from them so far in this game. They've really performed quite exceptionally. Such a shame we couldn't get Trailmax for this game. Very true. Think about what he could have provided if he was in the lineup. a kind of player that, frankly, is a difference maker, and it is unfortunate that he couldn't play in today's game. If Latvia wins or gets a point, then we can. If no, then no. I'm pretty sure that's right. Because basically Austria and the Team USA would both have enough points to be above. And so because of that reason, then they wouldn't be able to claw their way back in. Latvia is up by one. Member of the channel with Morpovic. With Latvia's up by one. Is it looking that bad? For this Latvian team, they have looked pretty good so far. They've been able to really commit structurally and defensively. They've allowed probably a few too many opportunities in this game that the U.S. just kind of missed the net on. But, I mean, you look at it for Latvia, outshot 17-5 in that period. The U.S. has had their chances. They've absolutely have. But Latvia as well has had their chances, the kind of game you wanted to see from them coming into this one. And credit to this Latvian team so far. They've definitely come to play today. As well, 2 power play opportunities, unable to capitalize on them, but still some pretty good chances. Do you think McKenna made a mistake not going to this tournament? The argument for Stenberg is that he plays against men, and McKenna could have proven that he could handle physical pressure. I think as well, as much as it was a mistake that he doesn't go to this tournament, I think as well, if he does go to this tournament and has a stinker, then it really ends up ruining his draft stock, right? And so that's the other argument. As much as, yes, you have to kind of consider the fact that if he goes, he can definitely turn some eyes. He was also the accepted number 1 pick at that point. And so if you end up going, you put together a really poor tournament, you lose some of that stock because people see that you actually can't play against men. And so for a guy like McKenna, although I would have loved to have him on the Canadian team, I think that would have been something pretty cool to see. I'm not overly upset and not surprised, I guess is probably the better word, that his team and his camp didn't let him come to this tournament, because at the end of the day, for a guy like Stenberg, absolutely should be going to this tournament. You think about what he can do at these tournaments, and we've seen it so far, but also kind of the fact that he does play against legitimate men in his day-to-day competition, where a guy like McKenna, not so much. I'm not terribly surprised by that. I feel like Latvia needs to up their presence a bit. If they can do that, they'll also get more chances to pressure the U.S. Meanwhile, I think a lot of the U.S. shots are mainly just shots to shoot. I would agree. I think part of it, too, for the U.S. team is that they've accepted that they're going to try and get to those rebound-type goals. Gudlevskis has been able to make kind of that first stop on a lot of these chances, but as soon as he makes that first save, you're looking for the rebound if you're Team USA, because a lot of them do end up kicking out. So for the U.S., for Latvia, you're looking to see whether or not the U.S. team can get to those dirty areas, because if they can, they are going to be very successful in this game. So we'll see kind of what ends up happening there. But if you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to now 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We hit 2,000 a little bit earlier on in the tournament. Big thank you to everyone for that as well. We'll be doing two other streams today. It might only be one, followed by our day recap video coming out a little bit later on tonight. So stay tuned for that. Should definitely be fun to see. A reminder of how we got to this point in the game. Latvia with the opening goal, 0s over in Denmark and Slovenia, although the Slovenians did score. However, it was ruled due to, I believe it was a kicking motion, might have been goaltender interference, but judging by the replay, it does appear that that was kicking motion as the reason for why it wasn't called. I believe Bjork has gained the most draft stock this tournament, nothing but positives from what I've seen. He's another player that I'd say a lot of scouts have kind of disregarded him just because he's small. And it's obviously great to see a guy like Bjork play so well, and coming off of a World Junior campaign where he was, and I still stand by this, the best player at that tournament. I'm very impressed to see him and how well he's played at this tournament in particular. As you say, he's a player that can absolutely earn a lot of draft stock, and he's a guy for me that I was really looking to see if he was going to be able to kind of continue to find his groove I'm looking forward to seeing Bjork, Stenberg, Schmitz. There's a few different players, Monique's as well, who are trying to kind of earn their draft stock at this tournament. And now it's a matter of how well can they play against legitimate competition. And every single time they've shown that they're going to be a contending team. Schmitz has been great also. Yep, absolutely. And for Schmitz coming off the Olympic year, he has a little bit less to prove because he was at the Olympic Games as well. And so when you're at the Olympics, you get to play against kind of that top end competition. But still, being able to show that you can compete against legitimate NHL players is a big step up from playing against college kids, playing against, smaller type players. And that for me is something that players like Schmitz, players like Stenberg, players like Bjork are going to be able to say, yeah, I do this on a kind of a daily. And so the transition into the NHL will be a lot less severe. And so if you think about kind of coming into it, as far as your best players at the draft, Stenberg is going to be kind of your best overall player. But at the same time, you're looking for the potential in McKenna because McKenna, you don't know whether or not it'll translate. And so that's what we could see kind of come draft day with the Maple Leafs with the first overall pick. I'd be surprised to see them not go with McKenna unless you're going to go with the defenseman, which I think they'll end up trading it if they do. But it is definitely interesting to see. At the start of some teams had Bjork below the 20th pick. Wow. Bjork in a recent interview said he wasn't even sure he'd go top 10 because of his height. Well, that's exactly the issue, right? And he's a tremendous player. He's a very good playmaker, a very good kind of goal scorer as well when he gets into those dirty areas, but he's tiny, right? And that's an issue in today's NHL game because a lot of it is how fast you are, how skilled you are, how speedy you are. You need to have kind of one of those big three things. And for Bjork, he's able to keep pace, he's able to skate with them, but he's unable to kind of play that bigger size role that a lot of teams are looking for. However, he does continue to win puck battles against players kind of, I don't want to say twice his size, but bigger than he is. And he's shown, especially at this tournament, although he's shown it really all year, that puck battles are an absolute strength for him, right? And despite his size, he continues to kind of be that Marchand type of role where a guy like Brad Marchand gets into those corners and likely will come out with the puck despite being a smaller statured guy. It's the same thing with a guy like Viggo Bjork because he's a smaller statured guy. And when you go into those corners, you expect him. You don't just think he will. You expect him to come out with the puck. And so a guy like Bjork, as you say, has had a lot to prove coming into this. And I think he's definitely shown well so far. So we'll see kind of as it continues what ends up happening there. But really impressed by Bjork's game, especially kind of considering his start to the tournament. It was a rough one for him, but he definitely has settled in quite nicely since then. And so it is very good to see him kind of find his way back here. As they're showing some of the NHL playoff highlights right now, I believe Vegas leads the series 2-0 over Colorado. Buffalo and Montreal, I believe it's a 1-0 lead for Montreal through one game at this tournament or at the playoff round. It's been a bit of a strange NHL playoffs as well, but you think about it for Colorado and Carolina, two teams that haven't had too much of an issue. Some top players from the international countries in the both those games as well. Definitely kind of interesting there. But lots to keep an eye on here in the NHL world. We are in that beautiful period of the year where you have basically full 24 hours worth of hockey between the Memorial Cup, between the World Championships, and between the NHL playoffs as well. Kind of that perfect time of the year. Outside of World Junior season, and we're in World Junior season. Oh, love World Junior season. One of our podcast topics over these coming months is going to be ranking our top IIHF tournaments. I do want to put my ranking out there for those. I'm actually curious to see who's everyone's Let's go with favorite IIHF tournament, whether it's kind of the U18s, men's, women's, World Championships, women's, men's, or whether it be the World Juniors on the men's side. Let me know in our chat which one is your favorite tournament, whether it be those. My personal one, and I'll always say it, is the World Juniors. I think that is kind of that best of the world tournament, and typically it's because Canada does well in it. We don't typically see Canada do all that well at the World Championships, and so the U20s for me is a really good one. But at the same time, it's been a very tough couple of years for the Canadian team. We were actually in Ottawa for the game where they lost to Latvia. We were in Ottawa for the game where they lost to the Czechs. We're in Ottawa for the game where they lost against Team USA. That was this absolute stinker of a tournament. But hey, they won a bronze medal last year, so go team. But yes, let me know in our chat which is your favorite IIHF tournament, as we are just about back underway here. Denmark and Slovenia, both teams have taken the ice early here. We will see which team can win on top. As we talked about in yesterday's recap, this is a huge game for both sides, looking to try and stave off the relegation spot. A win today would be a big step in them doing so. And so we will see for both these teams whether or not they can end up being successful, but time will tell. Overall U18s this year, World Juniors, fair, very fair. Men's Worlds, but Juniors a second. I feel like that's a pretty common theme. I know, especially with our tournament coverage, we tend to see some pretty good viewership for the World Juniors as well as these World Championships. And World Championships obviously are a little bit longer, but puck is dropped. We are back underway between Denmark and Slovenia. But like I know for this channel in particular, we did very well at the U18s this year, which was our first year of doing kind of full coverage for that tournament. We did back in 2025. We did kind of the playoff rounds for the U18s, but this year we took kind of the full gauntlet of it, and so it was definitely probably one of the better tournaments we've had as far as coverage went, but still cool to see kind of how even that side is very untapped, and part of the issue is no one covers these tournaments, and so trying to give a little bit more there. As puck comes out, Denmark with a prime opportunity there, unable to get there. As we are just about back underway, World Juniors are top for me. Where today do you expect most the physical game and penalties? Germany and Austria should be a pretty messy one, I'd say. And then I'd say USA and Latvia tends to be a little bit physical as well. We are back underway for second period action here between Latvia and Team USA. Once again, both for Latvia trying to sneak their way into that fourth spot in their group and try and make the quarterfinal rounds. We'll see whether or not they can do that. So dump it back off to Vamanis. Shot from the point, misses wide. And the Danes, how did that not go in? Horak with a great save there, I think. Or maybe hit off the crossbar. But wow, what an opportunity. I'm not sure any of the Danes know how that didn't go in. Puck will be dumped back out to center. How did that puck not go in? Oh, and it rings off the post. Oh, and nice. Oh, and the post keeps it out for Slovenia. Denmark with a prime chance. Shot. Hagensworth Cotter tries to do the spin shot, misses it. Cotter now sends it down low. Works the point shot, looking for traffic in front with Hagens there, unable to get it through. That'll be ruled down for a whistle. (0-0) between Denmark and Slovenia as we're back underway in that game. 1-0 lead for Latvia over Team USA over in this game. We'll see which team pulls out in both of these today. Passes it over. Ufko with the puck for Team USA. Slides it on down to Novak. Novak up to the point. Cycles it over. Ufko shot. Looking for the tip in front. Unable to find it. Novak passes it down to Olivier. To Novak. Back to the point. Blocked up top. Sasson with it now. Moves it back up. Lindgren carries it forward. Jams it out front. Shot! And a good save there by Gudlevskis. Didn't know where it was. Shot. Kicked away. Sasson with it now. Plays it up. Ufko. Passes it on down. Slides it around. Over to Olivier. Takes it. Moves it over. Ufko unable to keep it in at the line. Oh, Poulsen hit both bars on that chance. He didn't just hit the one. Nielsen passes it down to Moore. Moore back up to the point. Walks with it. Good block shot there. Nelson with it now. Nelson moves it over to Moore. Moore back up to the point. Back down to Moore looking for the slot feed. Unable to find him. Plant there in prime opportunity. Plant with it now. Tries to throw it to the slot to Nelson. Unable to find him. A lot of offensive zone possession here from Team USA. Clifton with it now. Slides it over to Nelson. Nelson moves it over to Moore. Moore wheels around with it. Penalty upcoming for... Oh, that could be double penalty. Double trouble. Rebound out loose, and the Latvians will touch up. Team USA will head to the power play. There's a whole lot of rough stuff after the whistle. But it will not matter as Team USA will go to the power play, where they will look to try and even this game out. A lot of rough stuff. Oh, and he just cross-checked him right in the face. Ouch. Oh, and the American player being sent off the ice there. Moore hobbling down the tunnel. Minor for high sticking is the call. And only in hockey do you see a guy put a guy's stick through his face and then only get called for a 2-minute penalty. Cebulskis on Plant, the recipient of that cross-check to the face. As Team USA will head to the power play. Prime opportunity for them in this game. We'll see whether or not they can equalize this one at 1. Denmark, an opportunity there. Falk with it. Falk walks the line, tries to shoot it, blocked up top. Egla there with the blocked opportunity. Oh, and a near chance there. Works back in as Latvia. Egla to the net. Oh, and nearly able to get that goal shorthanded. Shots are 12-4 for Denmark so far in this game. Falk slides it over to Tkachuk. Tkachuk with the puck. Tkachuk hands it off. Walks it over. Back down to Tkachuk. Tkachuk looking for the jam feed. Unable to get there. And Latvia will clear it the length of the ice. Good start to this kill so far for Team Latvia. As the Slovenians now work in their game. Shot deflected. Misses wide. Leonard gets the puck poked off from Vilmanis now. Back up for Team Latvia. Oh, and a nice move there. He's got Vilmanis in front, but and just out the outstretched stick there. Good opportunity there for the Latvians. .35 seconds left to go in the power play. 15:25 left to go in the second period. Tkachuk works in, hands it off. Check over to Howard. Howard to Ufko, who will walk the line. Slides it on down. Shot. Rebounds loose. And puck will be played back up to Ufko at the line. Ufko with it now. Passes over to Tkachuk. Tkachuk walks. Shoots. Kicked away by Gudlevskis. Good stop there. The U.S. right back on the attack. 5 seconds left to go in the power play. Slides it on over. Tkachuk shot. Rebounds loose. And that'll do it for the U.S. power play. A good kill there from the Latvians as they'll ice it the length of the ice down. And because Sobolskis ends up out of the box, Latvia will be called for the icing there. But still, a great kill from Team Latvia. Impressive to see. That game's also at 15 minutes. Do you expect, you watch 2 games at once? That needs some skills. We focus a lot on one game, and then we keep up to date with the other game. Typically, is how we like to do it. But yes, we do end up typically watching both games simultaneously, depending on what ends up happening in each respective game. As there appears there might be a little bit of glass work needed over in Latvia and Team USA. I believe we'll be heading to a power break here. Denmark and Slovenia is still tied 0-0. It's been a decent game so far for this Danish squad. A game that they are expected to still win and still nothing to show for it at this point. They did ring the puck off 2 posts on the same shot at one point as well. They've been definitely sniffing around, but haven't quite been able to get that big bite as of yet. Shot from the point covered up. It's the Americans now. Low rye. Passes it over. Shot over the net. Lindgren. Over to Steves. Puck is broken up, but kept in at the line by Lindgren. As now Team USA will start to work in with it. Sasson tries to rim it around. Kept in at the line there by Lindgren. Lindgren fires it around. And a nice defensive stop there as Latvia will be able to make a change if they can get any kind of deep zone time there, but are unable to. And the puck will be dumped right back down the ice. Puck hits off the glass. It will not be ruled delay game like the Americans were hoping for, but still, we'll see. We're heading to a power break over in Team USA and Team Latvia's game. 1-0 Latvia in the lead with just under 14 minutes left to play. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road now to 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We'll be coming out with our day recap video a little bit later on tonight as well as likely 2 other game streams today. Be sure to tune in. Lots of content well on its way. We'll see which team in both of these games. A huge start to this day, and part of the reason why we haven't typically done the 6:20 a.m. time slots in the past. Part of the reason why we're doing them today is so we can catch both of these extremely important games. And so we'll see. We will see which team comes out on top. Czechia and Slovakia coming up a little bit later on today. Should be a really good game to watch. As well, Switzerland and Hungary, which is your other game, which we'll have for that second time slot. And then Austria, Germany, Sweden, and Norway in that final time slot of the day, 2:20 p.m. Eastern. 8:20 p.m. Central European, and then 9:20 Eastern European time as the Danes work in. Still unable to kind of break through that middle ice so far. Have the Danes been unable to. Americans win the draw. Tries the chance. Oh, nice attack there by True. Falk slides on over to Lowry. Lowry shot blocked up top. And here comes back Team Latvia now. Egla fires it in. Looking for some bodies. Puck will be picked up and brought back out to center. 22-6 your shots in favor of Team USA to this point in the game. Tkachuk walks in, shoots, rebounds loose. Oh, and the net comes off. Novak comes flying through the crease there, and a prime opportunity from Team USA, but unable to be able to do it. This seems like how Latvia always should play, score a quick goal, then defend. That's what they do, right? And part of it, I think Schmitz just caught it where the sun don't shine. Who's that? I don't know who did that. But that's kind of how Latvia's always played, right? And we call it the trap style, but really it's just good defensive hockey where at some point your opponent is going to make a mistake and it's only really a matter of time before they do. Credit this Latvian team thus far for playing such a great game. And even if they allow a lot of shots, most of them aren't exactly high quality. So Sporgan back to get it for Team USA, gets tied up in the corner with Clifton. A little bit of scramble there. There's Latvia. First on the puck in the offensive zone. Bunchis with it. Throws on the brakes. Moves it over. Tries to jam feed in front. Unable to find it through. And back comes up Team USA. Olivier with the puck. We'll dump it around. Over to Cotter. Cotter tries to flip it out. They're showing some Latvian supporters who have made the trip. We are under 12 to play in Denmark and Slovenia as well as we're approaching that mark in Latvia and Team USA's game. As the US now works back in, tries to feed it out front. Gudlevskis with the stop again. The Latvians trying to hold their lead as best they possibly can. We'll see whether or not they will be able to hold off the American attack for see much longer, I guess is probably the better term. See how much longer they can hold off this American attack. Because it really is only a matter of time before the U.S. at least pots a goal in this game. We'll see whether or not they will be able to do so against a pretty good team in the Latvian squad this year. Obviously, they didn't have all their top players coming into this tournament. They've gotten some reinforcements as it's gone along. But still, we'll see for them if they will be able to hold on to the win here. Cotter gets knocked off his skates. Vilmanis with it now. A work back up for the Latvian team. Vilmanis over to Balcers. Passes it over. Cotter with it. Will wheel it in for the Americans. Cotter sends it around. Moves it forward. Balcers fires it down deep. Vilmanis, first one on it there for Latvia. Ties it into the corner. And the puck will come up out of play. Team Latvia has most of its best defensemen, but it's missing some of their best forwards. Very true. They will be getting some reinforcements, though, over the next few days. We'll see whether those adjustments are going to be kind of that make or break for this team. I'm excited for sure to see for Latvia whether or not they will be able to kind of find their way through. Philip Rugesser will head off for the Danes as Slovenia will head to another power play. A reminder that they nearly scored on that last power play attempt. Unfortunately didn't, but came very close and ended up scoring, but on a kicking motion was reviewed after the fact. Works in shot. This is wide than that. Botnia. Face-off draw win. Will come all the way back down into the American end. It's a little bit of rough stuff after the whistle. Olivier going up against Botnia. Both guys not exactly enjoying each other's company. So the Americans will work back up ice. Olivier dumps it down deep. Collected by the Latvian squad, who will dump it up and go the line, which will go to the length of the ice for no icing though. Ufko too quick to get back on it. 24-8 your shots for Team USA so far. Shot turned away there. You might have heard me just hum the Swiss goal song melody. I will say it's one of my favorite at this tournament. I know that they just redesigned it too, because it's originally the Riki by the Stubet Gang, I think is how to properly pronounce that. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. Oh, and a huge fight there, as Botnia not exactly happy with the American player. And I believe they're going to end up taking both of them. A little bit of rough stuff after the whistle, as Olivier put his stick right through Gudlevskis' cage. And then Sasson involved late in that play there. So there's a lot of rough stuff after the whistle. But we'll see what the final penalty calls are here. I would expect either Latvia to go off or be kind of coincidental minors. Oh, I think the U.S. just got a double minor. Yeah, because Olivier did put his stick right through Gudlevskis' mask. So I believe that Latvia will likely head to the power play here. Just want to confirm that before we put up the graphic. But it does appear at least that there will be a double minor from Olivier. He's not overly happy about that. Looked a little shocked, if you will. His word, what? All right, we'll put Latvia up, as the power play for Slovenia has come to an end as well. Led to a power break over in that game. Yes, so Latvia will go to the power play here, double minor against Olivier. And we will see. Oh, and Balcer's unable to keep it in at the line. Balcers drops it off for Schmitz. Schmitz walks in with it for Team Latvia. Will end up losing it. Oh, and the Americans. Oh, and a great opportunity there for Sasson, who would have been scot-free if he was able to pick up that puck. Unfortunately, unable to. Schmitz now. Oh, and the Americans. Some prime opportunities here, just unable to get there. Nelson throws it back up to the point. The Americans just keep firing it around on this Latvian team. They're unable to collect it. Gudlevskis out to play it for Latvia. I feel like the U.S. forgot this isn't the NHL. Yeah, no kidding. Big hit there. The Latvians, I don't even think that they've been able to get in so far. There we go. Levanis works in shot, saved by Cooley. Cooley will look to try and play it, but won't. Scary moments. Lots of counterattacking hockey, though. Where you expect most fun? 2+2 versus 2 minutes. I got Latvia and Slovenia for the win today. We will see. Slovenia and Denmark still tied 0-0. 8:15 left to go in the second period. Riki by Stubet Gang is the original song. It's actually about a Swiss meme. That's funny. Zile for Latvia will rim it around the boards. Hands it off. Works back up to the point, but once again, they'll clear it back up ice to center. and that'll be icing. This Latvian power play is sucked, frankly. It is absolutely awful. Why is this game not getting broadcasted? Depending on where you're watching from, people will likely be able to find you a link. But in Canada, it's on TSN, US, NHL Network. Europe, I'm not entirely sure. I know different countries have different places to watch. So I'm sure someone in our lovely chat could probably help you out with that. Skudlevskis hands it off to Zile. Zile with the puck, drops it back low, and here it comes back up the way, Latvia. Throwing it around, that'll do it for the Latvian power play. A pretty much a stinker that entire one real opportunity throughout the entire 2 minutes. Stretch pass now, Plant with it, tries to feed it across to Nelson, gets broken up. Walks over, oh, nice play there by Moore, feeds it over, oh, and the puck knocked off. Lindgren there. Tried to curl and drag it in, but unfortunately was not able to. Puck flipped up to neutral ice. Oh, and a nice pass there. Latvia with the puck. Will shoot it. Cooley doesn't know where it is off the line. Oh, and nearly pulled off by the American defender. And Latvia nearly had that goal squeak on through. Cooley didn't know where it was. It rolled right off the back of his pad and nearly into the net. But the American defender came back and kept it out. Wow. Oh, so close. Puck comes in. Slides on over. Passes to the point. Shot. Rebounds loose. Unable to find it. Rebound chance. Gudlevskis down, but able to cover up. And the whistle will go. Wow. Prime opportunity there for this Latvian team, or for this American team, rather. Over in Denmark and Slovenia, 6:20 left to go in the second period. Still tied at 0-0. The Danes, the far better team thus far, but Slovenia playing that near-perfect game again where they've held in just long enough to try and pull off the upset. And as soon as we say that, of course, they take a big penalty. Denmark will head back to the power play where they'll look to try and get themselves on the board. For Denmark, just continuing to try. How many goals do from Switzerland? Switzerland is playing Hungary a little bit later on today, which will be a great game. I'm looking forward to that one. For Hungary, a team who's continuously put together impressive performances against some of the better teams at this tournament. We'll see what they can end up doing. Should be a really good game there. I would say between those two, who I think will win between Switzerland and Hungary, the Swiss should end up taking it by a pretty good margin. I can't remember what our prediction video said, and I always like to try and reference our prediction video whenever I can, just because they keep some consistency there. It's not even on this sheet, which isn't great. It's on this one. We had in Hungary and Switzerland, we had Switzerland winning 4-0. That score still makes sense to me. I don't think that, obviously, the Swiss could very well pull out with a crazy win and take home 6, 7, 8, 9, but I don't see that happening, really. And they score. Denmark gets on the board here. Joachim Blichfeld with the goal for Denmark makes it 1-0 on the power play, as they will take the lead in this game and put themselves in a very good spot to avoid the relegation zone. Denmark 1, Slovenia 0. Denmark on the power play. Blichfeld with a great screen goal over Horak's shoulder. Just nearly. Able to make the save, but unfortunately unable to. And Denmark will take the lead in this one, as they will look to try and avoid relegation at this tournament. So they're showing now that most recent one, back-to-back goal line saves from both sides. Is there a penalty upcoming? As Latvia will take a penalty here, as Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's just undisciplined. That's a penalty? What do you mean that's a penalty? Oh, this is a penalty. Oh, Mamcheeks cross-checks Matthew Tkachuk in the head. It's what Tkachuk does so well, is get under your skin. Team USA will head to another power play, an undisciplined penalty taken there from the Latvians. They will look to try and shut this thing down. Why is power play for US now? Because Tkachuk is a rat and he's annoying to play against and gets under your skin. Is the very high level of it, which is unfortunate for a team like Latvia, who is trying to actually win this game, and a bad penalty to take, a real bad penalty to take. Puck come back out to neutral ice. Leonard passes it off there. Coronado works in with it. Coronado, nice move there. Drops it out to Tkachuk. Tkachuk walks it down to Nelson. Over to Novak. Novak with the puck. Novak back to Falk. Falk down low to Tkachuk. Tkachuk back to Coronado. Coronado with it. Back to Novak. Novak to Tkachuk. Looking for the backside feed to Leonard. Unable to connect. 6:20 left to go in the second period. Coronado over to Novak. Novak, oh, nice feed. Oh, and a great save by Gudlevskis coming all the way across. And the Latvians will fire it down the length of the ice. Cooley out to play it for the American team. 6 minutes now left to go. 1 minute on that power play. Hagens walks over the line. Feeds it off. Ufko with the puck. Passes it along. The walk in with it. Shot. Gudlevskis with a nice save there. Howard with that shot. An unexpected penalty. Yeah, it was an undisciplined one too. You can't be taking those kind of penalties, especially if you're Latvia in this kind of upset type game. You need to have your best players playing, but also you need to make sure you are locking it down defensively. You can't give the U.S. unforced opportunities. Ufko shot through a lot of traffic, but a nice save there. Tkachuk once again in the doorstep. If there were no goal slips, then it would be 3-4 for U.S. Denmark, Slovenia 1-0, 3:15 left to go in the second period. Over in Latvia and USA, the U.S. do find themselves on the power play, and they'll look to try and even out this game down a goal. Hagens in the face-off dot against Egla. Hagens with the face-off win, shot from the right off. Howard there, unable to find its way through. Howard back up to the line, back down to Howard. Howard with the puck over to Ufko at the top. Ufko throw on the brakes, pass it over. Oh, and tries to connect with Howard, unable to. Plant with it now for Team USA. Pass it over to Howard. Howard down low to Tkachuk. Tkachuk with it. Feeds it forward to Howard. Shot. Good save there by Gudlevskis. 5:15 left to go. The time, the enemy of this American team, as it continues to tick down in this game. Gudlevskis, showing him now. Botnia in the face-off dot. Premature draw there. Bruins into back. Shot. Scores! Team USA ties the game at 1 on the power play. An unforced error on one end leads to a goal on the other. Team USA with Matthew Tkachuk who scores it. It is now 1-1 between Team USA and Latvia. And a nice play there. A beautiful tip in front by Tkachuk. Tkachuk earns the power play opportunity and Denmark scores. Russell for Team Denmark makes it 2-0 over there. But Team USA on the power play, after an undisciplined penalty, leads to a goal on the other end. 1-1 USA Latvia, 2-0 Denmark over Team Slovenia. Wow. And how quickly momentum can change. Cotter now works in. Oh, and nearly for this team. Brugesser shot from the point, tipped in by Russell over in Denmark and Slovenia. Denmark leads by a score of 2-0 over there. But Latvia, USA, a tight game. Reminder that Latvia needs basically a point in this game if they want any hopes at keeping their playoff streaks or their playoff run alive. We'll see whether or not they can do so. Cotter with it. So moving it over. To Cotter. Cotter, throw it out front, can't. And back up the other way comes Latvia. To Balsers. Balsers over. Shot! Oh, and how does that not go in? Oh, and the Latvians with a prime opportunity there, but cannot capitalize on the chance. Oh, wow. An incredible opportunity there for Latvia, but unable to find it. Who do I think will win between the USA and Latvia? If I had to place my predictions, I'd say the US should win this game, but it wouldn't surprise me as well to see Latvia pull off the upset. So a very long way of saying that the US, in my eyes, should win this game, but Latvia wouldn't surprise me. Shot from the point, moves over, this is wide. So we head into the second intermission between Denmark and Slovenia. Denmark in the lead by a score of 2-0 there. 4 minutes left to go now between USA and Latvia. The Latvians with a very good performance to this point. One bad penalty ends up costing them pretty dearly in this game. Now it's tied. They were in the lead a short while ago. Steves will wheel it up for the US team, dump it down deep. Pass it over to Nelson, back to Steves. Steves tries to wheel it to the point. Will get up there, but broken up before he's able to make a play. Steves back to the point to Falk. Falk with it to Nelson. Nelson tries to feed it over, but can't. That puck will be shelled all the way up, and will go back into the Latvian end for a defensive zone draw. 3:10 left to go in the second period between Latvia and Team USA. We will head into the power break here. Oh, you will think the U.S. will win by the way they are playing. I would agree, but part of the beauty of Latvian hockey is they're expected that way, right? Where you are expected to be basically dominated for the full period, right up until the end. But we'll see, right? And part of the beauty of this sport is it doesn't really matter what the first two periods say. All that matters is who comes out in that third. And for a team like Latvia, who is so difficult to play against, I'm looking forward to seeing if they can pull off this last big upset at this tournament and find their way through. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So please, if you have not already, do smash that subscribe button. Bruh, we already won the face-off. The referee did it and the USA scored. There's nothing wrong with that face-off. Yeah, fair enough. Defensive zone draw coming up. Latvia in their own end. We'll see whether or not they can find an answer back here for the American goal. Coronado wins the face-off draw. Falk shot from the point, misses wide of the net. Low rye with it now. Wheel shot, but broken up. Latvia works back in with some numbers. Moves it over to Krastenberg. Krastenberg shot, looking for the rebound. Falk able to clear it away for the American team. And Kachuk for Team USA will work back in. Broken up. Puck will be flipped out. Egla will be able to beat out that icing call. Wheel it around the net. Gets taken down by Falk. No call upcoming. Novak with it. Carries it over the line. Novak over to Tkachuk. Tkachuk waits with it. Feeds it back to Lohrei. Lohrei back up to the line. We'll fire it around. Tkachuk with it. Coronado. Fires it around. Over to Tkachuk. Tkachuk tries the Michigan attempt. Oh, Matthew Tkachuk with that Michigan, unable to keep it on his stick, though. As that play will be ruled, I believe, for icing. Tkachuk trying to get a little fancy there. Tries to go for the Michigan attempt, but doesn't. End up keeping it on his stick. That could have been an interesting play there. If he would have been able to make it happen. Is McKinnon in the Canadian squad? Nope. He was originally on the roster, then decided he wouldn't go to focus in on the NHL Combine. Shot played around. Throws on the brakes. Hagen's with it down low for the Americans. Puck will come out to neutral ice. That will go the length of the ice for icing. What else do we have? Should I put my money on the USA? I wouldn't. I don't think that there's much value in doing so. Because realistically, this Latvian team, if they score another goal, they'll probably walk out with the win. Or they'll at least force overtime. And when you get to overtime, it's really anyone's game. But yeah, it will be interesting. Shot covered up. So they're showing some basketball highlights from last night as I'm watching every part of a different crowd dressed in a very different color, which I think is pretty cool that they can even organize that, but kind of interesting. Probably a giveaway, I'd assume. Oh, that's interesting. I love the giveaway stuff they do. I find that so fascinating. This puck will be moved up. Belser's with the puck now. We'll try and work in, but the puck will be broken up. Vilmanis works it back. Cycles it. Expected goals to this Egla now with the puck, actually. For Latvia, Saucer tries to saucer it across, but gets broken up on the way through. Vilmanis back to play defense for the Latvians. Tkachuk works up top. Works it down to Nelson. Nelson with the puck. Nelson drops it back to Tkachuk. Tkachuk back to the point with Nelson. Shot. Saved by Gilevskis. A little bit of an awkward save there. So we enter the final minute of play here in this second period. USA and Latvia taking on each other, a 1-1 score to this point. Denmark and Slovenia. Denmark 2-0, the score line there. We'll see which team can pull through with the victory today. What platform are you using to watch the game on? In Canada, it will be on TSN. USA, it'll be on NHL Network. In European, I'm sure someone can find, someone has a link to whatever it's on, depending on which country you're from. Botnia will line up against Sasson on the face-off dot. Works around, shot, looking for the rebound in front. Can't quite find it through. Olivier. The puck removed. Zierkaus tries to fire it forward, unable to. Puck will be rimmed down. Final 30 seconds of this period, looking for one last opportunity. Back up come the Americans. Lindgren with it. Will fire it around the boards. Mamcheeks gets the puck removed. Botnia. 10 seconds to go. Americans collected in their own end. Lindgren with the puck. He'll shoot it around one last time. 3 on the clock. And that should do it. We'll head into the second intermission between Latvia and Team USA. tied at 1 right now. We'll see which team can break through in this third period in hopes of making the playoffs at this year's tournament. And where it would get very interesting as we do head into our second intermission report for Latvia and the U.S. is if all of a sudden for this U.S. team they lose in overtime or a shootout to Latvia, because then the standings get even more jumbled given that the U.S. beat Germany. There's a lot of what-if scenarios. We'll, of course, break all those down for you when we get to that point, but there's a lot of chaos that still has to be had at this tournament before we get there. Part of the fun of it, I know a lot of people were asking about, well, what if this, what if that? The issue is that there's still 3 days of preliminary round play left at this tournament before we're into that kind of playoff, or is it more than that? 28 days? No, 26 days. So basically 3 days left before we get to that point, 4 days if you include today. And so the what-if scenarios are very difficult to try and predict, especially when so many of those teams still have to play each other. And so after today, we'll have a much better understanding, especially over in Group A, where Austria will take on Germany, so that game will kind of resolve itself. USA and Latvia is the other big game, where if Latvia wins and then kind of the rest of the teams win in there, then all of a sudden it might get even more complicated. But as of right now, it'll be fine. Would Latvia fare well in overtime, a shootout? Not too familiar with those two particular teams. I would say that they would. The Latvia, the way they play is very belief-based, and so the more belief they can have, the better that they can run. If they can play well as a team, they're going to be just fine, right? And I would say realistically, if they end up making it on to overtime, which we haven't actually seen an overtime game while we have been live so far at this tournament, but I would say that you can definitely expect them to be competitive at the very least. They won't get blown out by the Americans. Yes, the Americans are probably a more skilled team, but the beautiful part about 3-on-3 is it doesn't really matter whether or not you're skilled or not. It's just whoever kind of gets the puck first. And so you're basically betting on the fact that whether or not the U.S. gets the puck first or if Latvia does. U.S. is always close to the goal. It's just Latvian players so squeezed. Final score 3-2, 3-1 for the U.S. versus Latvia. I mean, there's no way there would be an overtime. There definitely could be. And I mean, if you look at it both these teams, for Latvia, they're going to try and earn the point. Every point matters a lot at these tournaments. And for the U.S., as long as they can bring home the win, they won't really matter in what context they do so. And so you just don't want to lose this game in regulation if you're Team USA. For Latvia, you're okay with it going to overtime. You also just don't want to lose it in regulation. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit more of that concerted defensive effort here for both teams, just kind of trying to accept the fact that they're not trying to win this game in regulation. They're just trying not to lose it. And so we could see a little bit more of that defensive side, which I would expect to see here as both teams understand the severity of this game, the magnitude of it really, because if the U.S. loses in regulation, very likely they end up not making this quarterfinal round. So we'll see what ends up happening there, but it should definitely be interesting. I haven't done my homework and watched your intro videos for those two. Oops, it's all good. Realistically, if it goes to overtime, this entire game favors the U.S. just because of their skill. But I wouldn't surprise me to see Latvia pull through with the victory, right? And even in overtime, same kind of discussion applies, but it very well could go which way, depending on how they end up playing through. Just Latvian player. U.S. is always close to the goal. It's just Latvian players so squeezed. Exactly. They play what we call the trap style defense here on the channel. They play really well defensively. They ensure themselves not to have that kind of issue. They don't allow a lot of goals, and they capitalize it when they kind of transition back off rushes. And so a lot of their goals will either come from power plays when they get those opportunities or off the rush because they are so committed to a defensive structure. And so that tends to be what you kind of see from this Latvian team. If Latvia and Austria beat USA, then US gets eliminated, right? Yes, that is correct. And so that'll be a fun game to watch. And then that also assumes that the Latvians don't end up losing to both Great Britain and Hungary as well. Although you get into that weird range where, once again, it's a little bit too early to start playing what ifs, but they'll be in a very good spot. We'll have kind of I think at least we'll be able to do our what ifs after today's set of games, where we'll start to be able to kind of pick apart if a team wins this game, they'll go to this spot, versus right now where it's still, you're waiting on Germany-Austria as a really big game as well, where if Germany-Austria goes or if the Germans end up beating Austria, then all of a sudden you put yourself into another really weird situation. And so a very long way of saying that it's still way too early to call which teams are going to end up in which spots. After today's games, we'll have a much better understanding of where each team should fit, but it will be interesting. And Finland scored 7 on Latvia. Well, Finland also plays a very defensive game, and we talked quite a bit before that game about the tactics side. I'm not sure if that's in reference to what I'm saying, but the Finns understand the tactical system that the Latvians play, because the Finns play a very similar one. I've played that same style for years, right? And so what that means is there's no one who understands the system and how to beat it than someone who plays it themselves. And so for a team like Latvia, they always struggle against the Finns just because of that fact and how well that they play structurally. And so that game didn't surprise me at all. I think we actually predicted pretty close to that. Latvia always does particularly bad against Finland. We often have upsets against other major teams, but Finland is an exception to that rule for sure, right? And that's part of the issue. Is they also, the Latvians didn't start their top goaltending in that game, understandably, considering that they weren't expected to come very close in it. But it doesn't surprise me to see the Finns continue to go out and beat Latvia, just because the Finns are the better team on paper. They are a better team than Latvia. But at the same time, for this Latvian team with a win today, then all of a sudden they open themselves up for a potential to go on a run here. And we'll see whether or not they can do that. Austria, very similarly, with a win later today, they'll basically clinch their playoff spot at this tournament. And so we'll see kind of how this all shapes out to be. It should be a fun watch as we continue forward here at this tournament, because every day seems to be a new kind of upset that we're keeping a close eye on, and we'll see which one it is going to end up being for today's game. Comparing Finland to the USA is crazy. It's like comparing a nuclear bomb to a grenade. USA plays defensively? No. Latvia and Finland play defensively. Not the US. The US does not play defensively. In fact, they're quite the opposite. They are a completely offensive team. Although I'm still not sure why I'm not sure if I said something, if I missed something there, but I'm not sure why we are comparing Finland to the US. The US team especially at this year's tournament, is a lot weaker than what we've seen from them in years past, and we've said that basically since the start of this tournament. But they're still going to be a competitive team in all of their games, especially when they go out and play against some of the kind of other teams. But we've seen it with better teams at this tournament. But we've seen it when they play Switzerland and Finland, just how much that skill gap does exist between the U.S. and those teams. And so we'll see kind of as it goes forward, kind of how it ends up going. But no, the U.S. is actually quite the opposite of a defensive team. They are actually more of an offensive team, very tactically designed to be an offensive team, even though all their defensemen are all offensive defensemen. It's the same thing in the NHL nowadays, where it's kind of your modern make of an NHL defender. Everyone jumps into the rush. They all contribute offensively, and so that's where you tend to see that kind of gap there. Comparing Finland to USA is crazy. It's like comparing a nuclear bomb to a grenade. What a line. That is a tremendous line. What do you think about what happened in that period for the U.S.? Bad penalty taken on one end leads to a power play goal on the other. A nice shot there from the point, tipped home by Tkachuk. Finland always plays tactical. That's why I think the final will be Finland and Switzerland. The U.S. team is quite the opposite. Completely agree. And I would also go on to say, we're going to kill the U.S. in the third. We'll see. It'll be a good ending to this one. I'm excited to see whether the Latvians can pull through with the victory. Chance. Horak doesn't know where it is, and Denmark and Slovenia are back underway in that game. Finland always plays tactical. Finland-Switzerland final. I could very well see they touched our goalie. You're dead. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see Finland and Switzerland together. I think that realistically could be a game to keep an eye on. I think that'll be a really fun one to watch as well. So we'll see kind of who ends up pulling through there, but it'll be interesting. Didn't the USA get completely destroyed by Finland? They did. They also got completely destroyed against the Swiss, although the scoreline was a little bit closer in that game. Yeah. I'm still not entirely sure why we're comparing the USA and Finland right now, but kind of apples to oranges type of comparison, especially with the way how good a team like Latvia or a team like the US plays, or a team like Finland plays at this tournament, their roster depth. As a Swiss, I can see Finland winning that matchup to close out the group stages. I agree. I think in our prediction video, we actually had the Finns winning the group stage game and taking that opener. And then in their eventual rematch, we had the Swiss end up winning. The playoff structure appears as of this point, depending on what ends up happening over there. When a turnover there, shot turned away there. Good save there by Sogar for the Danes. But we Latvians break or die. Trust me, it's over for them. I'll believe you. But for Switzerland and Finland in our preview, we had them matching up in the semis. I still think that either of those two teams still go on to beat Canada in their semifinal matchup, assuming all those teams end up making it, which I'd be surprised if they didn't. But, I mean, at this point in the tournament, nothing's really made all that much sense. So we'll see what ends up happening. You have the Czechs, who will likely end up as the second seed over in B. Sweden, I guess, should be the third, although we'll see how that ends up going out. Slovenia will head to the power play here in this game as we await third period action from USA and Latvia. Swiss go flawless. I could see that as well. What are the chances Sweden makes it to the final? Not likely. They'd need a little bit of help from their friends. And what I mean by that is they need to get themselves above the Czechs. And considering that they've already lost to Czechia so far at this tournament, I don't want to say it's impossible because it never is impossible, but your likelihood of getting it is extremely, extremely low. Because you're going to have to go through, as of right now, if you do end up that third seed in the group, you'll have to go through basically Switzerland, Finland, and Canada to get to gold. And I don't see that happening as of this point in the tournament, but obviously there's still time for that to change. If all of a sudden Slovakia later today beats the Czechs, that opens up a whole new can of worms. So we'll see. Ultimately, it's just going to come down to how well each of those teams play in those big moments, but I could very well see an upset being pulled off there. Shot from the point, rebound chance is loose, gets cleared away. Vilmanis for the winner. I'm calling it. Okay. Well, we'll have to cite you on that if he does score it. As we do take a quick check in on our poll, a reminder to go vote in our poll as well. Hit the like and subscribe button if you have not already. We have 146 votes registered. Latvia currently in the lead with 69% of the vote, 31% for Team USA. That's a rough run, but if they pull that off, honestly, respect. Tries to feed it over, clears away. Power play opportunity, 30 seconds left to go on the power play. Passes it over, back to the point. Nice stretch pass, looking for the tip in front. Where's the rebound? Jam play up front, unable to get there. It's a little bit of extracurricular after the whistle. little bit of time left to go on the power play, around 15 seconds worth there. And we'll see whether for Slovenia they can find themselves back into the game. Why didn't you stream last week? Work, big dog? Yeah, I worked during the week. And so weekends, we try and do as many of these streams as possible. We'll be live for the semifinals and finals of this tournament. So stay tuned there. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do the quarterfinals. At this tournament, we had a very long stream for quarterfinals at this most recent men's under 18 world championships, which we were live that entire day for. Unfortunately, won't be able to do that today, but for this tournament. But we will still be doing our day recap videos, which will come out later tonight as the power play is done here for Slovenia. Taken down there. Nothing to call, though. Latvians defend their goalie like wasps defend their queen. Very true. I feel like that's most teams, though, like especially in hockey, where the general golden rule is don't touch our goaltender and we won't touch you, for lack of a better term. As we will head into third period coverage between Latvia and Team USA, the battle for the spots in Group A, especially around the third and fourth spot in this playoff round, or a chance to play in the playoff round for the standings. We'll see which team can come out on top here, but the puck has dropped, and we are underway between Latvia and Team USA. Coronado drops it back for Tkachuk. That'll be whistled at the line for offside. Is the U.S. out yet? Nope, not yet. If they can win today's game, they're in a pretty good spot, and I think they actually clinch with a win today over Latvia, but we will see, of course, on that account. As we like to say, it is still a little bit too early to start playing the what-if scenarios, but for this U.S. team, a win today is a very good step in the right direction for them. Lowry will dump it down deep. They'll send it around the line. Shot from down low. Tkachuk with the puck. Tkachuk with it now. Sends it over to Lowry. Shot. Turned away by Gudlevskis. Pass it around to Schmitz. Lowry keeps it in at the half wall. Down low to Moore. Back to Tkachuk. Tkachuk throws it out front. No one knows where it is. Puck comes back out to the point. Falk first on it for the Americans. Cebulskis pick it up for Latvia, and we'll bring it back up to neutral ice. 19 now to go in the period. A reminder that Latvia needing a point in this game to keep themselves alive at this tournament, at least their playoff hopes alive at this tournament. We'll see whether or not they will be able to get that big win, or big win potentially, or a big point if they end up losing in overtime or a shootout. Slovenia now works back in. The puck, unfortunately, falls just out their outstretched stick. Cebulskis for Latvia. Move it up ice. Stretch past there. Fire it down deep. That will not go for icing. Lindgren back to get it for the Latvians. Steves with it now. Still in the American end. Lindgren collects it behind the American net. We'll drop it off. Here comes James Hagens. Hagens for the American team. Walks in. Tries to dump back out to neutral ice it goes. Puck will be rimmed right back around for the Latvians. Americans first on the puck, though. Howard with it. Howard sends it around. Stick comes flying out. Hagens back up the point to Ufko. Hagens flips it around. Moves it up. Here comes Latvia back the other way now. Fire it down deep. And Cooley out to play it for the American team. They'll collect it behind their own net. Ufko moves it along. Sasson. Oh, nice play there to the point. Clifton to Ufko. Ufko shifts it down low to Sasson. Sasson with the puck over to Novak. Novak to Olivier. Olivier works around the net, tries to go for goal, but cannot quite find it through. Puck will be poked all the way the length of the ice. This should go for icing. 17:23 left to go in this third period between the USA and Latvia. We will see how it ends up going. For Slovenia, my Cats play better hockey than they do. Slovenia's actually looked very good so far at this tournament, funny enough. And I'll be honest, I'm a bit surprised by it as well. I think especially you look at kind of the way that they've played to this point. They have gotten a lot better as this tournament has gone along. They have shown to be able to contend with some of the better teams, especially when they have good goaltending in net. Lukáš Horak has been a huge part for that. But, I mean, still, part of the beauty of it is even with the games that they've played and how close they've come, it doesn't mean a whole lot if they lose this game in regulation and they lose as well against the Italians. Passes it over, shot, goes straight up in the air. Where is it? Puck comes straight back down. Moore with it now. Wheels it around. Over to Kachuk. Kachuk back to Moore. Moore with it. Throws on the brakes. Tries to feed it out front. Can't quite find it through. Vilmanis for Latvia now will work in. Passes it over. Shot. Where's the puck? Out of play. Shot from the point. Misses wide. To Sean Rudolph Spouser's tournament so far. 5 goals, no assists, 14 shots on goal to this point in the tournament. Nice play there. The Danes work in. Fires it way over the net. Latvia and Team USA. 17 minutes or 16:50 now left to go in the third period. Still tied at ones. Cotter works in for the Americans. Zurich ties up in the corner. Schmitz with it. Schmitz will go against the grain. Back up to Botnia. He'll chip it out to neutral ice. Botnia and Plant tie up and Cotter tie up in the corner as well. Carlisle keeps it at the line. Botnia works over him. Oh, what a nice stretch pass there. Here comes Latvia back the other way. A nice move there to keep the puck alive. Latvians will work in the offensive end. Bring it around. Botnia with the puck. Anderson's back to the point. Fake shoots. Rebound chance. Oh, and nearly. Botnia on the rebound attempt nearly was able to make it a 2-1 game for the Latvians, as that will be ruled for icing. Cooley with a nice rebound stop there. A very close chance for Latvia to end up. Damn, that needed to be a goal. It really did. Yes, it did. Botnia with a prime opportunity, but just puts it off Cooley's pad. For anyone curious, anytime you see live standings like they just showed on Denmark, Slovenia, those are the standings if the game you're watching were to end at that exact moment. Very interesting. Shot tips up out of play. 9:01 left to go in Denmark and Slovenia. Denmark still in the lead by a score of 2-0. Slovenians now will work in. Get the puck poked off them, and Denmark comes back up the other way. A lot of neutral zone play so far in this third period between Denmark and Slovenia. Both teams struggling to get much going. Egla against Hagens in the face-off dot. Egla wins the defensive zone draw. We'll fire it all the way around. Lichfeld. Puck will be iced down by the Latvian team. Hagen's against Egla again. Egla with another face-off draw win. They'll do the exact same thing as what just happened. Back up come Latvia now. They work in. Where's the puck? Shot, but blocked out front. Lowry with it now. For the Americans, who will work back in 3-on-2 emerging. Over to Lowry, unable to control the puck. Latvia needs this. They really do. 2-2 so far. Shots on goal through that third period. For a total of 38-13 to this point in the game. Not a terrible surprise, to be honest. So here comes Moore. Moore gets knocked off the puck. That'll be ruled offside. But for this Latvian team, we're going to see whether or not they are going to be able to kind of hold on to this game. Prime opportunity for them here. Clifton works over to Ufko. Ufko will fire it around. Vilmanis works in but loses the puck there. A big opportunity here for the top line of Latvia as they look to try and score a goal. Vilmanis takes the puck out of the ref's skates. Here comes Vilmanis. Over to Balser's shot. Rebound loose. Chance again. Scores! Latvia's made it 2-1. A huge goal for the Latvian team as Denis Smirnovs scores for Latvia. And all of a sudden, Latvia has now taken the lead in this game and is looking to try and make their way to the playoff rounds. What an opportunity there. Vilmanis feeds it over to Smirnovs, who fires it home. Denis Smirnovs scores for Latvia. Balcer's shot. Cooley with the rebound. Vilmanis again whiffs on it. Right onto Smirnovs' stick. And Tkachuk unable to get back on defense. Latvia 2, USA 1. Moves it over. We're under 14 minutes to play now in the period. Mamcheeks loses the draw, or loses the puck. Puck will be played around for the American team. Olivier with Sasson. As we enter 5 minutes to go now in Denmark and Slovenia, 13 to play over in Latvia and Team USA. Lowry gets knocked off the puck. Krasenbergs works back in for Latvia now. Denmark 2-0 against Slovenia. Olsen tries to feed it through but can't find it. Lowry. Rip Balsers. Steves feeds it on over. Shot. Good save there by Gudlevskis. What do we got here? Goal, a lot of goals. Wow, a lot of goals. Wow, some very happy chat we have today. Dude, you're too boring of a speaker. Bring some energy. Go get a coffee. I do apologize for the early morning. I guess it's reflective, but goal, more goals. Looking good for Latvia now. They just need to hold it down. They do, and ultimately that's kind of how they play, right? To quote our soccer friends, as the World Cup is also coming to Canada very soon, you just got to kind of park the bus a little bit. You know, that's what you got to do. And so we'll see whether or not they can do that. I'm excited to see here if they can hold down the fort and potentially find their way into the playoff rounds, which as of this point looks like it's starting to become more and more likely. 3 minutes now to go. Denmark and Slovenia. Expect Horak to be pulled fairly soon here. Your stream is very late. I think it's because it gets posted on a delay, so I think it's actually about a minute behind what's actually being recorded. So I do apologize for that. You can't really fix that. It's part of the joy of using YouTube. And so it's actually up to date on my end, and then it slowly but surely comes back. Coronado with the face-off win to Kachuk. Kachuk over to Falk. Shot blocked up top. Moore with the puck. Moore wheels it around. Shot. Misses over the net from Gudlevskis. Baltzers. Smirnovs. Who will fire it down deep. 12 minutes left to go. Moore with the puck. Fires it out to the slot. Kachuk there with that opportunity. Turned away by Gudlevskis. Vilmanis now for Latvia. Looks to be a 2-on-1 might be emerging. Vilmanis, nice move there. Tries to feed it in but can't. Vilmanis back up to the point. Walks it. Shoots. Good stop there by Cooley. Through a screen as well. Botnia for the Latvians. Moves it around. Botnia. Moves it over to Vilmanis with the puck. Passes it up to the point. Cycles it around. Oh, and gets taken down there. Bit of an awkward play. And the Danes score, making it 3-0 in their game. 1:47 left to go. And that should do it for that one. A big win today for Denmark as they try and continue at this tournament and stay up at the top division for at least one more year. For the Slovenians, they will now start to look ahead to their game against Team Italy, where that game all of a sudden has a lot more meaning for them, as with a loss, very likely they will end up relegated from this tournament. Igla gets knocked over by Clifton there. 10:30 left to go in the period. As Cotter works in for the Americans. Stretch pass to Plant. Plant whiffs on the shot. Schmitz with the puck over to Cotter. Cotter throws on the brakes. Works it down low in the corner. Cotter works around with it. Cotter back to the point. Down low. Works it around. Clifton with it. Clifton tries to drop it off. Plant over to Carlisle. Puck comes broken up, but kept in at the line. The Americans still with it. Oh, a nice move there by Cotter to hold on to that puck. Oh, that puck will come up and out of play. And so it'll be 9:35 now left to go in this third period. Latvia leads 2-1 as we head into a power break there. Slovenia has pulled their goaltender. Looking for one last final chance as we enter the final minute of play here between Slovenia and Denmark. The Danes pick it up and will try and clear it to neutral ice. Whistle will go. 51 seconds left. Denmark 3, Slovenia 0. Slovenia once again has pulled their goaltender. If you are new here, please do smash the like button and hit the subscribe button. As well, vote in our poll who you think will win between Latvia and Team USA today. Where am I watching? I'm watching on TSN in Canada, NHL Network in the US, and then European. I'm sure someone knows where the European watchies can watch it. Hockey is a boring hockey, so that's why the IIHF only scores goals in the highlights. I will say that their highlight reels are absolutely terrible. It always makes me laugh to see how they only put the goals in there. Relatively low production value, I'll say that much. But TSN's is always pretty good when they do post theirs. I feel like the effect of a back-to-back have gotten to Slovenia. It kind of feels that way. They look pretty flat even right now as they're trying to defend. And Denmark makes it 4-0, a potential goal for the Danes that could come back in the end to really help out. But for Denmark, now leading 4-0, this game is about to turn final as well. And so for the Danes today, a really well-played game from them, as that will do it for the Slovenian empty net. And that game likely will turn final in just a few seconds. 9:05 left to go in the third period. Latvia still in the lead by a score of 2-1. Our marquee matchup of the day. This will come right down to the final whistle, really. Steves works around. Feeds it forward. Vilmanis throws on the brakes, tries to feed it over, passes it forward. Cooley plays it over to Falk. And that'll do it over in Denmark and Slovenia. Denmark picks up a huge 3 points in the standings as they look to try and avoid the relegation spot at this year's tournament. Their win today over Slovenia is a big step in the right direction in achieving that goal. As we head back to our game between Latvia and Team USA, 8 minutes now left to go in the third period. Latvia 2, USA 1. Thank you very much for subscribing. Works in. Carlisle with it now. Tries to feed it out front. It's broken up. And back come the Latvians. 7:45 left to go now in this third period as they continue to try and hold on to this lead. Be a fascinating development if they can hold on here for our standings. Obligatory stop cutting off the feed before the players of the game TSN post. Oh, poor Nick. Here we go. Dying moments, well, not dying moments quite yet, but we're getting to that point for this U.S. team as they try and hold on to the lead. We'll see if they can do it. So the puck will be rimmed around for this Latvian team. Coronado with it, tries to feed it out front, gets tied up, and that's going to be a penalty. Krastenbergs will head to the box for tripping. A weak call there, as it looked to be just a stick tie up. But Krastenbergs will head to the box for the American or for the Latvian team, and Team USA will go to the power play as they look to try and tie this one at 2. How is that a penalty? I strongly disagree with that call. That's terrible. That's actually terrible. Wow. Okay, so U.S. will go to the power play on what probably should not have been a power play. But nonetheless, we are here now. Kept in at the line, but immediately turned back. So the Latvians will skate up with it and fire it down. 7 minutes now left to go in the period. Krastenberg's the tripping call. Oh, and a giveaway. All alone shot. Oh, and a great opportunity there, but cannot bury it. Wow. A prime opportunity there for the Latvians on a giveaway and nearly able to make it 3-1 shorthanded. Baltzer's there with the opportunity. So Latvians will fire it all the way down the ice. 6:23 left to go in this third period. 1:20 left to go on the American power play. Works in with it. Leonard. Fire it down the length of the ice for the Latvian team. 6:05 now left to go in this period. The Americans not having much on this power play so far. The best opportunity came at the hands of the Latvians shorthanded. As Howard works in for the Americans, slides it over, back up to the point. Olivier with it now, a walk around with it. Olivier, down low to Howard. Howard with the puck, moves it back up to the point to Ufko. Ufko over to Kachuk. Kachuk over to Howard, looking in the back feed, unable to find it through, but Ufko still with the puck. Ufko with it, moves it over to Howard, back to the point, shot, blocked out top. Leonard with it now. Leonard with the puck, feeds it forward. Kachuk shoots. Where's the puck? Rebounds loose. And the puck comes out. 2-on-1 emerging for Latvia. They shift back up ice. Schmitz with them. Shot. Oh, and a great save there by Cooley. A prime opportunity for the Latvians there. Goes for naught. Some amazing chances on both sides of the ice for both these teams, but nothing to show for it. This game remains 2-1 as the power play comes to an end. Under 5 minutes left to play in this third period. Latvia and Team USA extremely close through right now. As the Latvians now try and jam it up the boards in their own end. Kept in, though, at the line is the Americans. Steves with the puck. Steves gets shoved over. And back up come Latvia. Chip it back up ice. Falk back to get it for the American team. Gives it off to Hagens. 4:15 left to go. Ice start to go on to Cooley for when he's going to leave. 4:10. Can Latvia hold on? We saw Norway choke away their lead against Canada just a few days prior. Tries to move it up. Puck kept in, though. Oh, and a great move there by Vilmanis. Vilmanis now with the opportunity. Vilmanis over to Egla. Egla tries to slide it back out, but can't. We are under 4 to go now. Clock the enemy of this American team. Latvia in need of points. They will likely end up keeping their playoff hopes alive here. Vilmanis now works in. Vilmanis for the Latvians. Oh, and gets tripped up. Will there be a call? There will not be. Potentially a huge turning point in this game as Vilmanis was tripped up on what looked to be a slew foot. Surprising no call there. They'll move it around. Smirnov's the guy who put this Latvian team where they wanted to be. 3 minutes on the clock. All eyes on Cooley now. Coronado works in. Shot. Good save there by Gudlevskis. Puck stays in play. Shot. Where's the puck? Cleared to the corner. Mamchiks will fire it forward. And the puck will come back out to neutral ice. 2:45 left to go in this third period. Can Latvia hold on? 2-1 the score. Or will we be heading to our first overtime period of this game? Now we rolled for icing. Wow. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit subscribe. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So if you have not already, please do smash the subscribe button and let us know who you think is going to win in our poll. Currently leading our poll with 200 votes registered, 69% of people say Latvia will end up pulling through, with 31% for the Americans. Americans with a face-off win. Lowry collects it behind the American net. Is this about time where we see Cooley go to the bench? Hasn't started skating up quite yet. Hagens with the puck for the American team. Hagens moves it over to Steve. Steves to Hagens. Over to Leonard. Leonard tries the back feed over to Hagens. Shot tips up and out of play. 2:13 left to go in this third period. We likely now will see... Oh, we'll go to a commercial break actually first, because there's less than 3 minutes left. 2:13 left to go in the third period. So it only makes sense that we actually go to a commercial break, because why wouldn't we, right? Stressful moments for Latvia and Team USA, both looking to try and win their game today. A big step in the right direction for their playoff hopes for the US team. All of a sudden, with the loss today in regulation against Latvia, their game coming up against Austria could potentially be the reason why they miss out on a playoff spot at this tournament. This U.S. team has struggled for most of this tournament so far. They get Tkachuk late. He isn't all that great for them. A big role today. If he scores a goal, gets the power play that ended up leading to that goal. But you'll look for him in these final few minutes to really take it to that next step if this team is going to have any chance. The last sequence was nuts. It really was. But we are on a commercial break, or on a power break, as I like to say, so be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe. Goaltender has been pulled for the Americans. Cooley is on the bench, and so we will see for Team USA whether or not they can find the equalizer here against our friends in Latvia. Here we go. 2:13 left to go in the third period. Botnia lines up against Coronado in the face-off dot. Botnia with the face-off win. Sabolskis will fire at the length of the ice looking for the empty net, but that will miss wide. Though for icing, 2:07 now left to go in the third period. Prime opportunity here for the Americans to try and tie this game. Goaltender pulled for Latvia, trying to hit that empty net and find themselves very likely into the playoff rounds with this win today. Botnia once again will line up against Coronado. Botnia, a very good face-off man so far in this game. But he will lose this draw. Novak back up to Falk at the point. Falk works it down to Novak. Novak back to the point to Falk. Falk back to Novak. Novak with the puck. Works down low to Tkachuk. Tkachuk gets the puck poked off him. Schmitz tries to clear it, but kept in the line by Falk. Shot again. Rebounds loose. Scramble out in front. But kept away by Gulevskis for now. As Balcers will just fire the puck down the length of the ice. 2 minutes now to go. Or 1:45 left to go in this period. Wow. Clock the enemy of the American team. Officially 1:40 left to go on the clock in this third period. Here we go. This is where it gets exciting. Make sure to smash that like button if you have not already. Botnia against Coronado again. Face-off lost, and Schmitz breaks his stick. Could be trouble. The defender for the Latvians without a stick. Tkachuk works in, fans it over to Falk. Shot! Misses wide of the net. And Vomanis will try and flip it out, and they will. Schmitz able to get off the ice or get a stick for him. Novak with the puck now. 1:20 left to go in this third period. Puck rimmed around. Sabolskis for the Latvians. Up taking it. Vomanis, scot-free. Can he get there? Vomanis, all alone, scores! The empty net goal for Latvia, and they will do it. 3-1 Latvia with 1:02 left to go in the third period. Team Latvia will likely end up pulling this one off. Latvia 3, USA 1. And the playoff hopes survive for Latvia. Wow. And I don't want to say they've done it, but they've done it. Latvia has pulled it off and beaten Team USA. For the second straight tournament in a row, coming off of the men's under-18 World Championships, for which we were live here on the channel, Latvia has done it again. What a game. Latvia 3, USA 1. And with this win, Latvia likely only needs one more win at this tournament to end up, well, I guess maybe they won't. Once again, we're still too early for our what-if scenarios, but I believe with a win against, maybe they have to win both. They probably have to win both at this point. Against both Great Britain and Hungary, they will find themselves into the playoff rounds at this tournament. Wow. And for the defending world champions with the US, a disappointing game for them here. Cooley will head right back to the bench for the American team. Falk walks over the line over to Tkachuk. Tkachuk with the puck, slides it over. Shot, scores! Uh-oh. Olivier with the goal for the Americans. It's now 3-2. This is why you don't jinx things. Uh-oh. Here we go again. Latvia 3, USA 2 now, with 50 seconds left to go in the third period. And this reminds you a lot of the Finland game from last year against France, where France scored the empty netter against Finland, and then Finland responded with two more goals with the goalie pulled, forced overtime, and ended up winning that game. The reason why France was eventually sent down to the relegation zone. We'll see whether for Latvia, after the pandemonium had already started, you have to make sure you finish the job. Goaltender back in the net for the American team. Here we go. Face-off, draw one again. Goaltender pulled, but immediately comes back the other way. Vilmanis shoots, scores! Makes it 4-2. The Americans with an immediate turnover, and Cooley already on the bench. Vilmanis deposits it into the empty net to make it 4-2 Latvia. That should do it now. 41 seconds to go. The U.S. will try and find another one. Falk, the turnover, trying to hit Tkachuk, and Vilmanis steps right into that pass, turns it back up ice, his second empty netter of this game. And you can all breathe a little bit. I know we have a lot of Latvian supporters here in this chat today. Latvia 4, USA 2. As goaltender back in the net for the American squad. Does the U.S. have any late life? Oh, and a great face-off win from this Latvian team. Vilmanis will work down low. 30 seconds left to go. Botnia with the puck, and that's probably going to do it. Schmitz with the puck for Latvia. In a tremendous game today from this Latvian team. So collect the puck. Schmitz with it now. 5 seconds on the clock. Shot one last time. Gudlevskis turns it away, and that's going to do it. Latvia has pulled off the upset and beaten Team USA by a score of 4-2, and their playoff hopes stay alive at this tournament. Team USA, who's been struggling all tournament long, continues with another loss, their second straight, to this Latvian team coming off the backs of the 2026 Men's Under-18 World Championships. We see Latvia pull off the upset again in this one, taking home the win. 4-2, your final. Wow. What a game for Latvia as they have pulled it off. And the standings get so much more complicated now. A reminder, we'll be doing our post-day recap later tonight. But Latvia has done it. They've actually done it. They have pulled off the upset. And now they have the path through into that quarterfinal round. And with their win over Team USA today, if Germany ends up beating Austria later on, then you have this Latvian team very likely going to end up as that third seed in the group, which would mean for Latvia, if they end up the third seed, they get the second seed, which as of this point appears will either be the Czechs, who I'd say they can probably beat the Czechs, the Swedes, or Slovakia, depending on what ends up happening over in Group B. Absolutely crazy. Can't believe USA. Does this mean that the US are not making the quarterfinals? They'll probably still make the quarterfinals, but I mean, this game is just absurd. Latvia being the boogeyman of hockey. Time after time, we wait at these tournaments for a Latvian upset. You know, it's not exactly a matter of when, or a matter of if, but rather a matter of when. And they do it once again at this tournament, pulling off a huge upset. If Austria wins tonight, I think USA should be out of the quarterfinals because they have an easy opponents for Latvia. Not necessarily, because the US still plays Latvia. And so, once again, it's still a little bit too early to call which way it ends up falling. But I would say that realistically, Latvia is in a very good spot right now. Gudlevskis is the player of the game for Latvia. Kachuk, the player of the game for the American team. Not a whole lot of surprises there. Trelmax will be joining Team Latvia tomorrow. I mean, you look at it, it's a tremendous opportunity for them. As the Latvians will hear their national anthem today. RIP for that dude who bet someone bet 500 on the US. I hope it wasn't on this chat. Wow, what a performance from the Latvians today as they keep their playoff hopes alive at this tournament. Absolutely tremendous. As a USA and Panthers fan, of course, it would be Vilmanis sticking the knife in twice. Well played, Latvia. Very fair. If Austria wins, no, we do that one. Strange but true, with this Latvian regulation victory, Great Britain is still in quarterfinal contention. Denmark, Italy, and Slovenia are out. Denmark and Italy were eliminated by Sweden yesterday. It's kind of funny, Great Britain's still in, especially after the tournament that they've had. Although still very unlikely they do so. You think about it for Great Britain, they still have to play Latvia. For Latvia, they have 2 more games still. Hungary, which I'd say is going to be a bit of a tough game for them, but if they can play strong offensively, they'll be fine. And then in their other game against Great Britain, where that game is another kind of wild card type of game where they should be able to win, but you really never know. Latvian upsets starting to become less surprising by time, for sure. But we always say, like, on this channel, every time we come into a tournament, Latvia will just about always enter as underdogs, right? But at the end of the day, you know they're going to pull off an upset because of the way that they've shown that they can do this every single tournament that they've been participating in over the last few years. And they've been getting better and better as these tournaments have gone along. A tremendous game from them today, and we will see what ends up happening as they shift forward in these standings. Over in the other game from today, Denmark did beat Slovenia 4-0 in a big win for them as they try and avoid the relegation spot at this tournament. The Danes started blue cold, I guess, at this tournament, and so it was coming off of 4 basically impossible games for them. They then bring it back today with a big win over the Slovenian team. Canadians are happy about this result, childish to say the least. Well, I mean, to be fair, I'd much rather play a team like Latvia in the quarterfinals than have to go through a U.S. team who is so up and down all the time. This U.S. team is a very skilled team, but at the same time, I mean, it's always nice to see an upset. It's who I always cheered for. We have a lot of Latvian followers here on this channel as well, so I'm glad to get to see them pull off a big win in this game. And so childish, you could say, or just great hockey to the very end. If USA loses the next 2 games, they might be relegated. Unlikely, because Great Britain is in their group and the US is already beating Great Britain, which would mean that the US or that Great Britain would need to jump 2 spots, and I don't see them doing that. Very unlikely they do so, at least. USA, USDP, did they expect? Can they do this in another tournament, but not here? Very fair. That's why we watch hockey, except when Finland plays. Upsets aren't that fun then. Same thing with Canada. Completely agree. If Austrian wins and Latvia wins the rest of the games, then US is out. That is correct, especially because Austria then plays the US team. And so because of that, if Austria then beats the US, then basically they will end up being eliminated from this tournament, which is kind of crazy to think, right? It's funny to think about for this U.S. team coming into this tournament. We weren't sure how low that they'd be. We knew that they weren't going to be the best of teams, just with their roster composition, but I don't think anyone was expecting just how bad this game and how bad this tournament has gone for them. Their only big win so far has been against Great Britain. Struggled through their win against Germany, and even that game, even the game against the Brits, it was tied 1-1 halfway through the game. And so for the American team, they've just kind of been struggling. So we'll see, right? And they're going to go up against Austria, a team who's been red hot to start this tournament. A bit of a disappointing game against the Swiss the other day, but still, it's always interesting to see for teams like Austria whether they can pull off a big win against a struggling U.S. team who, frankly, isn't all that good this year. Predictions on Latvia versus Britain tomorrow. I do still expect Latvia to pull through with the victory. In our prediction video for the games on the 24th, we had Latvia winning 4-1 the final. That game, for me, I would expect to stay the same. I don't think that's too much of an adjustment factor there. 4-1 still remains my prediction for that game. No, 12 points are pretty much a lock for quarters. Michigan players are just as good as Canadians. They were ranked number 1 in the IIHF. That's where I got that from. What are we arguing about? By seed entering tournament, this is number 10, Latvia beating number 1, USA. These young guys don't have the experience. Fair. It's also the Swedish team as well as another very young team at this tournament. So we'll see kind of what ends up happening here. A reminder, we'll be live in about an hour and a half or an hour and 15 minutes time for our second games of action today. We have a pretty good one between Slovakia and Czechia, and then Switzerland will take on Hungary in the other game. I don't expect Switzerland and Hungary to be all that close, but I mean, you really never know at these tournaments nowadays, as every single game you play tends to get closer and closer. So we'll see what ends up happening there, but time will certainly tell. The good goaltending, goalie net, and Cooley. Does this really count? Cooley's made them look good. Period. So because all American NHL players are Canadian. Predictions on Latvia, we did that one. Michigan players are as good as Canadians. I grew up in Illinois. We're not even close to there. I knew a guy from Detroit. He laughed and would come to Illinois, and they'd blow teams out. Fair. What about Denmark versus Italy, Slovakia, and Canada? As far as predictions there, Denmark against Italy, which is tomorrow as well. I have 3-1 Denmark over the Italian team. I think that game will be very defensively minded. You'll probably see Clara start in that game as well for the Italian squad. And so I think it'll be a tighter game, but I think in the end we will see the Danes end up pulling through with the victory, and then Slovakia and Canada. I have Canada winning 4-2 in what should be a really good back and forth type of game. We'll see who ends up pulling through with the victory, but it wouldn't surprise me there to see really either team pull through with a win. Two very good opportunities there. We'll see whether or not either team can kind of take home the win. If the U.S. misses the quarterfinals, the number 1 ranking will likely go to Canada or Switzerland, whoever finishes better. Very true. I'd say probably the Swiss are probably that favorite as of right now to see. If you kind of think ahead to the rest of this tournament, wouldn't surprise me there. Thoughts on the upcoming Finland and Switzerland game? Very excited for it. You look at these two teams, extremely tight on paper. The Finns probably have the slight edge as far as paper goes, especially with their performance so far. But the Swiss are just so, both these teams are just so good that it wouldn't surprise me to see either team end up taking home the victory. Two very solid teams. What else do we have? Latvia can put up a real fight on potential Canada versus Latvia quarterfinal with the underdog momentum for sure. And we tend to see North American teams struggle against Latvia. That's nothing new. Their entire game is designed to basically counter North American play styles. We've seen it with the Finns, and that's why they're so successful each and every year they come to these tournaments, regardless really of who ends up playing for those teams. But very exciting win today for the Latvians as now they look ahead in this tournament to try and see if they can pull off that one last big miracle upset and potentially find themselves playing for a medal at this tournament. You really never know. And for Latvian fans, I know a lot of negativity to start this tournament has quickly gone up the wayside as they try and find themselves into the chance for gold, or a chance to play for a medal. We'll calm down on the gold part at this tournament. At the very least, it does appear they will make the playoffs now with the big win today over Team USA. We'll be keeping a very close eye on the Latvian squad as we move forward in today's games as well. We'll be talking about it in our day recap video coming out a little bit later on tonight. But that is going to do it for our live stream today. A huge thank you to everyone for tuning into this live stream where we all got to watch one of the bigger upsets of this tournament so far. Latvia defeating USA 4-2 in regulation time. Once again, a big thank you to everyone for tuning in. But with that, if you made it this far in the live stream, thank you for watching. If you'd like to drop a like, if you really liked it, consider subscribing. Tell all your friends that Latvia should be going to the playoffs. Until next time, see ya.